Good morning, everyone. Well, who's ready for an adventure? A solo adventure at that. Hi everyone, it's me. My name is Alanna and I'm a Canadian, but I have been living here in the UK for the last 8 years. I suck at solo travel. I just can't do it. Doing things alone always made me feel anxious and embarrassed and cringe. But we're gonna change all that. So this is episode 3 of my solo trip series where I'm trying to get better at doing stuff on my own. I'm very excited, I'm very nervous. Today we are going to London's Natural History Museum. So I'm excited. Still nervous, but I'm excited. And this video is sponsored by Skyscanner. Can you believe it? No, I can't. It is though. That's for real, but it's shocking, isn't it? So, I hope you'll join me. And we're gonna be fine. It's fine. There's nothing to be anxious about, right? We're fine. Everything's fine. I'm just finishing up my morning coffee. I'm just about finished packing my bag. Then we are going to catch the train and have a great day. I haven't planned anything other than just getting there, and we're just gonna go with the flow and see what happens. I did just want to say real quick, I have been getting really sweet messages and comments and emails and DMs and all that kind of stuff from people who have watched my solo trip series so far, and they've reached out and they're like, hey, I took your advice and I did something on my own and it was really fun. And honestly, brings a tear to my eye. It is so sweet that this type of content is resonating with people. That makes me feel so nice. So if you are one of the people that sent me a message, first off, thank you. If you're one of the people who may be kind of on the fence, you want to do something on your own, but you're like, ooh, I'm not really sure. I hope that this is a sign for you to do something, however small, on your own. All right, I think that was all I wanted to say this morning. The sun is well and truly in and out. It looks stormy, and I gotta figure something to do with my hair. Hair is so annoying. If I could just shave it all off, honestly, I would. Anyway, that's not the topic of this video. Maybe a future series, Alanna shaves her head. We are getting off topic. I'm going to miss my train. Thank you for clicking on this video. Hope you enjoy it. Let's go to a museum on our own. We're not gonna freak out. We're not gonna feel embarrassed, and we're not going to be anxious. We are going to enjoy the experience and whatever happens today. All right? So without further ado, let's go. All right, everyone, we are off. So first up, a train into London. As a Canadian, the idea that you can just take the train to most places in the UK is honestly shocking. I know some places, especially now that I don't have a car, some places I just can't get to easily, but the fact that I can get to so many other places with public transport honestly still blows my mind. It is such a privilege, even if maybe my train was a little bit delayed. You know what I mean? It's still a privilege. And also, if you have any solo trip ideas, leave a comment down below. I'd love to know. It doesn't have to be a museum. That's what we've done so far, but I'm really interested in trying perhaps other activities next. The ultimate dream, okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The ultimate dream as this solo anxious travel series is to go on a actual holiday by myself. So I've been speaking with a online friend up in Scotland. I would love to go visit her and then do some touring stuff on my own, which is terrifying. I'm not quite there yet. But with the sponsor of today's video, Skyscanner, I can get the best possible deal on flights, which is fabulous. Where my days would be extremely flexible, Skyscanner has this really cool option where you can look at a calendar and it shows you all the different price comparisons. So no matter where I end up going, hopefully Scotland, at least I know that I can get a really good deal. If you're looking to get away sometime soon, whether on holiday with friends or family or by yourself, maybe you are a solo traveler, totally jealous. I'm gonna be there at some point, not just yet. Make sure to look in the video description. I have my own personal link. You can click that and check out Skyscanner to get a great deal on flights, car rentals, even hotels, whatever you need, but it'll be in the video description. And whether you go with someone or by yourself, I hope you have a great time. Now, on our way into London, a little bit of a slog, not gonna lie. It's kind of annoying because I can't read on the train or do work or anything, so I kind of just have to sit there, listen to music, but there was a rainbow. How fun. I think this is my first train rainbow. Couldn't believe it. Yeah, not much else to say about that other than how cool. And I will just say it is such a privilege to be able to go into London fairly easily. It takes a while, but it's pretty straightforward. I would never want to live in London personally. It's not for me. I'm not a big city person. Love to visit, love to go for a day trip, a couple of hours, but it's just a bit too much for me. There's just so much of everything, people, sounds, smells, buildings, traffic. It's just a lot. So definitely a village / small town kind of girly. Personally, maybe you're a big city person. That's cool. Just not for me. And we made it. So we get into London, then it's a tube ride over to the museum. I will just say the Natural History Museum is free, of course. All of the major museums in London are free unless you want to do like the special exhibits. But the Natural History Museum is a mouthful. I gotta like say it slowly each time. Anyway, they want you to book a timed ticket. I guess where this museum is particularly busy, they kind of want to stem the flow of how many people are arriving at the same time. So when I did get to the museum, there's 2 queues. One way out the door, and of course it started raining at this point, so like a pretty big queue of people who didn't have tickets. They just wanted to enter the museum just whenever. And then there was no queue for me, someone with a time ticket. I literally just showed my booking to this guy at the door and I walked right in. So here we are, gorgeous, stormy, beautiful English day. If you know the general time of when you like to go to this museum, definitely book a time ticket. It takes 5 seconds and you don't have to queue up outside in the rain. All right? So hot tip, if that's something that you're interested in, do with that information what you will. And here we are. So by the time I actually arrived in the museum, first off, it is heaving. So busy. This is by far the busiest museum I've done so far as part of this like solo trip series. But when I arrived, it was just before lunch. I was pretty hungry and I've kind of gotten to a routine of like get to the place, have something to eat, and then I can just explore for the rest of the day. So here's one of the cafes. Gorgeous architecture, busy, crazy busy. I ended up sneaking in a table that hadn't been cleared off yet because it was literally the only one open. And I ended up getting a pasta and a drink. So a pesto pasta with like olives and cheese and tomatoes and edamame. It was pretty big, and a Diet Coke. So how can you go wrong? This was actually really tasty, and I want to say it was £9 for lunch. Not the greatest, but honestly, not that bad considering we are at a tourist spot in central London. So I'm fine with it. Plus, it was actually super tasty. So I had a seat, had my lunch. Eating alone is a weird experience, and it's something that I'm trying to get better at. My test this time was to eat without listening to headphones, like without a podcast or music. I literally just wanted to sit on my own and eat my lunch. And guess what? Nothing bad happened. I had a great time. My lunch was tasty. And then I was ready to enjoy the rest of my day at the museum. Shocker, I know. So after lunch, I went to the mammals section. There's like reptiles. The museum is broken up into zones. So I started off in like blue zone, which was all these guys. So there's like reptiles and stuff leading into the mammals. Loads of stuff to look at. I will just say there was a lot of kids, which makes sense. Out of all the museums I've done so far, this is definitely the most kid-friendly museum, so makes a lot of sense. A lot of children. It wasn't like school break or anything, but it was just, yeah, kids everywhere. Look at this guy also, walking fish. Look at that face. Anyway, we are in the famous mammals room, absolutely massive. Kind of hard to see the scale of everything. I guess you can compare it to the people in the shots, but yeah, very cool, loads to see. Do you guys know about Mudang? Anyway, lots of fossils. I was trying not to film people. It was really difficult. We got some elephants. We've got skeletons everywhere, tusks. Very interesting, cool, good stuff. Love to see it. I also thought this was pretty cool, the comparison of the teeth. So you've got a Asian elephant versus a woolly mammoth. Look at the size of that. Crazy. Okay, here's me trying to film myself and look casual. Look casual, Alanna. You're professional. Yeah, lots to see here. And this is really just one room. What else is there to say? Mammals. They're cool. Next up, I made my way to sort of like the art corridor, if you will. Lots of really beautiful artwork, photography, illustrations, all that cool stuff. One thing that jumped out to me was this. This is a blue swimmer crab that has been with the museum for over 30 years. But what I found really interesting is they talk a lot about how nature teaches us, of course, and these illustrations can teach us more about the flora and the fauna that is, you know, part of our world. Anyway, dinosaurs. Segue to dinosaurs. Now, again, very kid-friendly museum. Have a look at that guy. As a 31-year-old woman, I can admit dinosaurs are cool, fossils are cool. You can't hear all the kids, but they're like, oh my God, because the dinosaurs like roaring and stuff. It was very, very cute. This section, of course, is very kid-focused, and it was absolutely packed. Thankfully, as a short person, I could see over, 6-year-olds. I don't know how old these kids are. I don't know kids' age. Everybody was small, though, so thankfully I could see over their heads. But there were a lot of cool fossils if you could read them. Where it was so busy, sometimes it was hard to, get up to the plaque. This, I thought, was absolutely wild, the death pose of this creature. The amount of fossils still intact, the size of it, absolutely wild. But yeah, very busy. Oh, it doesn't look that busy there. Trust me, it was. And these little guys, how spooky. I don't know about you, but I watched Jurassic Park at a very formidable time in my youth, and I did want to be a paleontologist or an archaeologist. Same with Indiana Jones. I love that stuff. Anyway, back into the main hall. Absolutely incredible architecture. And I made my way over to the treasures room. So there is a particular room that houses, guess what? Treasures. So this was a very small room and it was quite busy. So I got one video of these fossils, but I couldn't really see very well, so I switched to photos. So for instance, this one is a moon rock. It is the only piece of Apollo moon rock owned by the UK, and it was collected on the last mission and given as a gesture of goodwill by the United States government. Love space, love Apollo type history, so this was very, very cool. I'm not going to try and pronounce this type of dinosaur, but these were teeth, first ever found, which triggered the discovery of dinosaurs. Just wild. This is the UK's earliest surviving meteorite that confirmed meteorites fall from space. So a lot of the things in this room are kind of like the first item that triggered a certain discovery, whether that's dinosaurs or meteorites. All of it is just wild. Let's do one more. How about this? Rare first edition of Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection. There were more items in this room, but for the sake of the length of this video, that is a little like a taster. As you exit the treasures room, you're up on this sort of hallway. The architecture of this place is absolutely gorgeous. I know this is really embarrassing and cringe, but this makes me think of Harry Potter. All right, I read Harry Potter as a child. This is what I imagined. Anyway, back to this hallway. Loads of gemstones, meteorites, precious gems, all that kind of stuff. Gorgeous, and a really interesting way to display them. We got the whale one more time. Why not while you're there? And then I entered the gemstone room. I don't know what you call this. It's got gemstones. And one thing that I loved about this, obviously the variety of gemstones and elements and everything is wild, but they're painstakingly categorized of where they came from. So I saw bits from literally all over the world, North America, South America. I saw some from Russia, Mexico, Brazil, all over the UK, Europe, just loads of variety, including this topaz, almost 10,000 carats that was donated from Brazil. Look at the color on that. Anyway, this room was gorgeous, the architecture, but obviously the items as well. So many different shapes and colors and sizes, all from, various places in the world. Very cool. Busy, but cool. And I made my way through this room to the very back of the room, which was the vault, which sounded very cool, but surprise, it was closed. I don't know what was supposed to be in there. Leave a comment down below. What's normally in the vault? I hope it's nothing cool, so I'm not disappointed. Now, this big whale is obviously very famous. In March 1891, this 25-meter female blue whale beached in Ireland, and the skeleton was brought to the museum. I did read this one plaque that talks about how the blue whale represents the fragile status of the natural world, past, present, and future. That's the first time I've ever pronounced that status. Normally I would say status. I don't know why I did that. Also, while we're exploring up top, I didn't realize that, can you see that? All of the little square tiles in the ceiling are various flora. I thought it was just pretty, but it actually serves a purpose. And I did read that these are hand painted. Unbelievable. This building is gorgeous. Anyway, we carried on into the next sort of section. More fossils, very cool. And there's sort of like a bird wing, if you will. I didn't mean for that to be a pun, but it was. There was a bird exhibit at the end of this hallway you could pay for. I didn't. Oh yeah, bird heads. Squeamish, look away. We're at the Natural History Museum. There's going to be a couple of bird heads. But I thought the labeling on these were so interesting, and all the different shapes and sizes and varieties. Incredible. And this guy. Look at that. Anywho, at this point I was getting a bit tired. I saw some more fossils, which always love. Again, the variety of types of fossil, but also where they came from, which was really incredible. And of course, this was outside the gift shop, so you know I had to go look. Does anyone want a long neck dinosaur in a t-shirt? Oh my god, I literally could not. I love a look in a gift shop. I can't help it, all right? You gotta exit through the gift shop? Hell yeah, let's go to the gift shop. And there's lots of actually interesting stuff here, I will say. A combination of like sweets and gemstones and animals and bugs and all sorts of fun stuff. Board games even. How about this large T-Rex skull? Only 85 quid. What a bargain. I was very much a Beanie Baby and stuffed animal kid. All right, that's just who I was and who I am. I was very partial to a stuffed animal. And the stuffed animals in this gift shop, I could not. They were so cute and adorable, and I loved them. If I was a child, I would have cried until my mom bought me one of these. And one in particular. Can you guess which one? It's difficult. But yes, it was the giant squid. How adorable. I wish I bought it, to be honest. They were just so cute. And there's so many different ones. Anyway, literally not the point of this video. How about I leave you with this dinosaur discovered on the Isle of Wight in 1914. It is one of the most complete dinosaurs ever found in the UK. How incredible. Overall, I had a really fun time at this museum. I will say it was absolutely heaving, the most amount of kids I've ever seen in one place, and it was hot. I don't know why they had the heating on, but my god, it was hot. Either way, I had such a fun time. I hope you guys liked this video. If you want to watch more, definitely check out one of my other solo trip videos you can watch here. And if you've ever been to this museum, leave a comment down below. What did you think of it? How'd you find it? What was your overall rating? I had a great time. I'm absolutely pooped and it's time to go home. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!